Thank you for tuning into this special episode of the Old Code Podcast. This is less of an official episode and more of just an aside. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for enjoying the content. I want to thank you for giving feedback when possible. But really, I have one single thing that I want to communicate today, and that is, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think that this has kind of been played out, the line of, it doesn't have to be perfect to start, but I feel like I can throw my voice into the crowd and give my own perspective, my own 2 cents. But you really don't have to be perfect in order to start doing something. And really, I think that in today's culture, especially YouTube and hustle culture and stuff like that, sometimes taking a minute and slowing down and honestly just doing something because you enjoy doing it, not necessarily because you're good at it, but because you enjoy it, it's an important thing to do just in the meantime. We focus so much on results. We focus so much on getting things to the maximum efficiency. And I do think that there's room for maximum efficiency. I do think that there's parts of life that's, you do it the best you possibly can, but sometimes just doing it because either you enjoy it or because you want to do it, that's good enough. In my mind, I think I've heard stories of big YouTubers running, campaigns or test demographics and stuff where they want to know if the video responds better if somebody is smiling versus when they're not smiling, and when they're, or just the YouTube thumbnail getting it absolutely picture perfect before they can publish it, or running A/B tests and all that stuff. And I think that it can create this idea of unapproachability to creating and publishing materials, especially in today's day and age. And that's one of the reasons why this episode it's going to be a little bit less polished, and I'm showing you something that I do just for the love of it, for the fun of it, and that is my sketching. I am not a talented artist by any stretch of the imagination, but when I was a kid, I wanted to grow up to be an artist. I wanted to draw, and I wanted to make art and all that stuff. And if I look back on some of the old drawings I did, I was absolutely terrible, and I saw that I was absolutely terrible. I loved doing it, but I saw that I was absolutely terrible, and I didn't end up pursuing it because I felt discouraged because I wasn't any good at it. And then in my teenage years, I stumbled on 3D modeling and stuff like that through Blender 3D and all of that, which is how I make some of my YouTube shorts, the graphics there. And I started seeing the games that were coming out at the time, and I was just astounded by the quality. And all I could think was, I'm never going to be good enough to actually do that professionally. So and this was right around the time of Avengers coming out too, and so if everyone remembers in theaters, the Hulk scene where he turns into the big green rage monster, that was just like that cementing factor of just, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be good enough. I'm never going to do anything good enough to actually, get paid for it. And so I gave up on that too. I did it here and there for fun, but I kind of gave up on it. When I was in my early 20s, I started cooking, and I got really good at it. I was cooking in camps, in restaurants, but the thing that I noticed was that when I was working in these kitchens, it tended to suck the joy out of it. And so I found something that I was really good at, but I stopped enjoying it. And so with this video, I think the point that I'm trying to get at is find something that you just want to do. you just love doing it. And for me, I have started to sketch again. Back in 2022, I want to say, I started sketching again, and I just really started to enjoy it. And I realized that I didn't have to be really good at it. I didn't have to be great at it. And that freedom from perfectionism helped me to start doing more things. And that's even what this podcast is the desire to make something good. It's the desire to make something true and the desire to make something beautiful. And I don't necessarily know if I accomplished the last one in my podcast, but I like the idea of just doing something because I love doing it and because I want to do it. And if I can help someone along the way, if I can impart a little bit of wisdom along the way, and if I can help you to feel like tomorrow might be a little bit brighter, then I feel like I've done my job well enough. And when I get done editing an episode, which typically is just me cleaning up the audio and putting a background track to it, and I listen to it and I hear all of the little imperfections, like in the last episode I did, I called the people that the Spartans subjugated hoplites. They were helots. They weren't hoplites, they were helots. And I hear all of the imperfections, but that's not the point of this podcast, and that's not the point of finding the thing, the hobby, that you love, and that is that you're doing it because you love it. And that's why I'm trying to go through the Western tradition, because I love the Western tradition. That's why I tried sharing some of the stuff that I've learned over the past decade, because that's all I want to do, is just share some of the wisdom that I've had to learn the hard way. And hopefully along the way, you can feel encouraged or edified, or maybe a little bit, just encouraged to go do something. So if you want to start, and that's kind of the whole point that I'm getting at, is if you want to start doing something, don't wait until you can do it perfectly, or until you're good at it, or until you can have the perfect routine. Just do it. For me, my workout routine is barely a routine. If I can squeeze in a 10 minutes, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, and some squats, then that's what I do. But when I'm listening to a lot of these YouTubers, maximizing all of their efficiency, maximizing this, that, and the other, they have the money, they have the time, they have the resources. But for us little folk, for us regular folk, who are trying to get better a little bit every single day, and I know James Clear already wrote Atomic Habits, but just do something. Do the little that you can do. If you want to get into art, start by doing little tiny sketches, or watercolor, or something along those lines. Find the minimum barrier of entry, and then get into it. Buy a pencil and some paper, and that's all you have to do. Honestly, I will just use the microphone on my laptop and then clean up the audio for this. I find royalty-free music. I run it through, I have access to Audition at work, but I'll use Audacity on my personal computer. I wanted to do something, and so I found the bare minimum that I had to have in order to get it done. And that's all I'm trying to get at with this, is don't wait until you can do something perfectly to do it. Just try it, just do it. And you know what? If you end up loving it, or if you end up learning to love it, then continue to do it. So that's really all I got for you today, but I know that this one has been a little bit scattered, but I hope that this episode is an encouragement to you, and I hope that you know how truly valued you are. I don't personally know you, but, there's someone who values you, and I'm not going to pretend like we have a parasocial relationship, But I hope that you enjoyed this drawing process as well. Yeah, I'm not really good at it, but I love doing it. And the same with podcasting, and with a lot of things. But I love doing them. So, I hope you're well. Thank you for tuning into this special episode of the Old Code Podcast. Catch you next time.